Top events that are likely to happen in 2023. There is no doubt that the world economy has had a bad year, and the current market change feels historic. Again, money has value, and there might be alternatives to stocks. But does this imply that we will eventually receive good news? Or is the terrain in front of us uncharted in any way? Well, we are about to find out in today's video as we take a look at top events that are likely to happen in 2023. Let's go! Number 1. Higher interest rates and a possible recession. The Federal Reserve's standard interest rate is currently amid the Great Rate Crunch and is predicted to hit 5% in early 2023. Well, this does not sound like something good is about to happen next year, does it? Currently, the most aggressive monetary tightening in decades is already harming the American and global economies. There is likely more pain to come as Bloomberg Economies also predicts that the US recession might come in place by the time we reach the second half of 2023. Higher borrowing costs will affect rate-sensitive industries such as real estate and automobile businesses. Hence, over 2 million Americans are most likely going to lose their jobs. But things could get better if inflation disappears as fast and mysteriously as it came in the first place, which is highly unlikely. The pandemic has put labor markets out of kilt, raising the natural rate of unemployment above where it has been in recent years to the level of unemployment needed to keep inflation under control. If that occurs in the US, which economists believe is a possibility, the Federal Reserve may be forced to raise rates as high as 6% as a means of reducing the inflation rate. Since most countries are also going through the same inflation issues that the US is facing, their central banks, except Japan, are also following the same route to solve the issue. A few other economies are also trying to pull out of this trend, but unfortunately cannot do so. However, market overshoot can pave the way for future recovery in bonds and stocks. In 2023, economists anticipate that fresh opportunities will once again enter the bond and equity markets. Thus, it is anticipated that when the monetary tightening cycle comes to a close, bonds and also stocks may stabilize and recover once market expectations for rate increases exceed the necessary adjustment, thereby creating chances for investors in the upcoming year. Number 2. Global gas market to remain tight. Another 2023 prediction is that global gas markets are expected to remain tight as a result of the reduction in the supply of Russian pipeline gas. Hence, the demand for gas is said to fall in Europe due to increased prices and energy-saving measures. The natural gas market is not new to this tightening as it has long been occurring globally since 2021. In comparison to the same 8-month period in 2021, gas consumption in Europe has decreased by 10%, with a 15% decrease in the industrial sector as a result of enterprises cutting back on production in response to rising costs. Now, things could get messier. One of the last operational pipelines for Russian gas to reach Europe could be shut down if Moscow decides to follow through on its threat to penalize Ukrainian energy company Naftogaz, worsening the situation just as the important winter heating season gets underway. Therefore, if the supply of liquefied natural gas, LNG, remains strong and the flow of gas from Russia to Europe stops, EU gas reserves would be less than 20% loaded in February. However, if the LNG supplies falls off much, it might only be 5% filled by February. Number 3. Decline in global shipments of PCs and tablets. The difficult market conditions are expected to cause a drop in PC and tablet shipments globally in 2023. The International Data Corporation, IDC, believes that this only indicates that the PC and tablet markets are in for some turbulent times. The combined market for traditional PCs and tablets is now expected to decline by 2.6% in 2023, before beginning to grow in 2024. This is because the initial predictions for 2022 saw traditional PC consignments fall 12.8% to 305.3 million units, while tablet consignments would fall 6.8% to 156.8 million units. Why is this happening? Well, this is just another bad event that occurs due to inflation, as well as the increase in purchases over the past 2 years. So you see, inflation is causing a whole lot of issues globally, and the faster sometimes can be done about it, the better. Additionally, further decline is anticipated in 2023 as consumer purchasing power slows, education demand is largely met, and enterprise demand is delayed as a result of deteriorating economic indicators. Research manager for IDC Mobility and Consumer Device Trackers, Jitesh Ubrani, has said, though demand is slowing, the outlook for shipments remains above pre-pandemic levels. And this can only mean that the market contraction for the tablet and PC industries may be here to stay for a while. Number 4. The re-emergence of click and mortar. Future of retail P3. For most of the early 2010s, several tech analysts predicted the downfall of brick-and-mortar businesses at the claws of the rising e-commerce startups that emerged from New York, Silicon Valley, and China. And for a larger fraction of the 2010s, the statistics supported the predictions, as e-commerce companies began experiencing revenue explosions and brick-and-mortar chains closed down one after the other. These trend lines, however, are starting to break under the gravity of their hype as the decade of 2010 comes to an end. What exactly occurred? Well, for one, the struggling brick-and-mortar businesses saw the value of digital and started making significant investments in their e-commerce services, thereby increasing competition in the online market. However, the cost for new e-commerce players to penetrate the market increased as e-commerce behemoths like Amazon captured even larger portions of the digital consumer marketplace and promoted free shipping. As a result, membership sites and to a lesser extent flash sale websites lost some of their appeal to online shoppers. What will the new retail model look like in the 2020s, and particularly in 2023, given these rising trends? For starters, between 2020 and 2030, brick and mortar would change to click and mortar. Retailers will be successful in training a significant proportion of their customers to conduct a majority of their daily transactions online. Your shopping experience in 2023 will be very different from what it is now due to this trend. The store decorations will be more expensive and better designed. The display of items will be more elaborate. The customer service employees will also be evaluated equally on the number of favorable in-store online platforms and chat app referrals they produce, as well as the sales they achieve. Purely online and offline businesses will generally fail for the next 10 years. In their stead, click-and-mortar brands, which are hybrid businesses that will effectively close the gap between e-commerce and conventional in-person retail shopping, will rise to prominence. Number 5. The end of COVID-19. Seems like a farce, doesn't it? Well, believe it or not, the existence of the pandemic is predicted to possibly come to an end by 2023. We would be able to go outside freely without the use of face masks and ultimately breathe in the fresh air. The virus, which initially surfaced in China in late 2019, has ravaged the world economies and overwhelmed healthcare systems while killing up to 6.5 million people and infecting 606 million. The Omicron subtype, which arose in the latter part of last year, causes fewer severe diseases, and the introduction of vaccines and treatments has contributed to reducing hospitalizations and losses of lives. According to the UN agency, the recent COVID-19 deaths were at their lowest level since March 2020. US health officials have also said that although the pandemic is not over yet, new bivalent vaccines signal a significant shift in the war against the virus. 2023 predictions show that a single annual vaccination, similar to the flu shot, should offer a higher level of protection and bring the nation closer to normality. And we have come to the end of today's video. Hope you enjoyed watching this as much as we enjoyed making it. Do share your thoughts on the video in the comment section. If you liked the video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and tap the bell icon so you can get notifications about any future videos.